Alright, so let's graph some quadratic equations. Okay, so quadratic equations come in two variables. So notice here in this equation, right here, I'm looking at two variables. I've got a y and I've got x's, okay? So because there are x's and y's, that's why we say that there are two variables. Even though that x occurs more than one time, we still talk about this in terms of two variables because they are two unique, different letters. It doesn't talk about how many times they occur in the equation. Okay, this is called standard form. Right here. So you start with your highest exponent, and in a quadratic, our highest exponent is going to be 2. And then you work your way down from there. So this is our standard form. And notice here it says that our leading coefficient, right there, the a, cannot be 0. Alright, on this page, we are going to sketch the graph of y equals x squared. So I'm going to create a t-chart. Okay, so if I do just numbers that I think are really handy, like 0, 1, and 2, let me show you what happens. So I put in 0. What is 0 squared? It's 0. I put in 1. 1 squared means 1 times 1, which is 1. 2 squared means 2 times 2, which is 4. So if I were to graph this, I've got 0, 0 right here. I've got 1, 1, which is right here. And I've got 2, 4, which is right here. Okay, quadratics are a U-shaped graph. So watch what happens whenever I do this. So check this out. I've got y is equal to -1. If you were putting this in the calculator, you must use those parentheses. It makes all the difference in the world. Otherwise, you'll get the wrong answer. So -1 times -1 is +1. So look at this. -1, 1 is right there. And if I put in -2, this is -2 squared, which is -2 times -2, which is +4, which is right here. Okay, so there's my U shape now. So you got to be really careful about not making that a sharp curve. Quadratics are a smooth, rounded curve. Alright, so on this page we're going to talk about the name of that graph, which is called a parabola. And you have a vertex. If you want to look back at this page right here, the vertex is the turning point. It's the place where the graph makes a turn and goes in the other direction. The vertical line that passes through a parabola's vertex is called the axis of symmetry. So right here, if I look at this, let me do a different color. If I do this line right there on the y-axis, then you'll notice that the right side of that pink line is identical to the left side of that pink line, so they are symmetric. Okay, this is a page that just kind of shows you where the vertex is. They show you that the axis of symmetry goes through the vertex. If the parabola is right side up, or a smiley face, then you have a minimum point. If the parabola is upside down, then you have a maximum point at the vertex. Okay, what I want you to notice here is that notice how many intercepts there are. There are 2 x-intercepts at most for any of these parabolas, and there's 1 y-intercept. Now, a parabola could always look like this too, where it never ever crosses the x-axis at all. So it's possible that it could only have 0 x-intercepts, but eventually this one it does keep going outwards, and so eventually it would cross the y-intercept. It just may be way, way, way far up. But look at this. What if it touches the x-axis? That's considered 1 intercept right there. Alright, so if we want to sketch the graph of this thing right here, it is really helpful to know what your x-coordinate of your vertex is. That way you know where to kind of start. Now, my recommendation is your x-coordinate of your vertex is at negative b over 2a. So your a in this case is the coefficient in front of the x squared term, so it's negative 1. And your b in this case is the coefficient of your x term. So in order to find my x coordinate of my vertex, I need the opposite of my b, so that's going to be positive 2 over 2 times negative 1, so 2 over negative 2, which is negative 1. Okay, so that is my middle location. That's going to be where my vertex is. So to find my y-coordinate, I have to put negative 1 into this equation and see what I get out. So I do recommend that you do at least 2 or 3 points on either side of that vertex. So what x value would be to the left of negative 1? Well, to the left of negative 1 on the x-axis is negative 2. To the left of that is negative 3. Now I want to do 2 more, but I'm going to make those on the right of the vertex. To the right of negative 1 is 0. To the right of that is 1. So these are the 5 points that I'm going to put into my calculator, and I'm going to see what I get out for y. You might want to try this too at home. Don't forget, those parentheses with the negative numbers are super important. So make sure that you use your parentheses. That one's easy. Alright, so now I'm going to plug these into the calculator and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what I came up with. So now I'm going to plot these ordered pairs on my graph. Negative 3, 0, negative 2, 3, negative 1, 4, and 1, 0. Okay, so let me grab a graph real quick and then we will plot those. Alright, so here we go. So negative 3, 0 is right here. There we go. Negative 2, 3 is right here. Negative 1, 4 is right here. 0, 3 is right here. And 1, 0 is right here. So this graph is an upside down parabola. Now, I knew that it was going to be an upside down parabola because my a, my leading coefficient, was negative. Anytime your leading coefficient is negative, you're going to have an upside down parabola. If your a is positive, it's going to be a right side up parabola. Okay, notice on this page they did do extra points. They did this one and this one. And I really do hope that you're noticing that your vertex is going to be the only one that has a different y-coordinate. Otherwise, this and this one match, this and this one match, this and this one match. That's because of symmetry. Okay, and it looks like their graph looks a lot like ours. Now the thing I do want you to notice, your vertex is right there. That's the maximum point here. And notice the axis of symmetry, this red line going down the middle. That equation is x equals -1. That -1 comes from the x-coordinate of your vertex. All right, that's it. Have a good day.